It's the Date Master. Yes, we're back with another video. Once you come in, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you will be notified once I drop a video. So we're going to go ahead and get into this yet again. You see these scandals, the allegations, the civil suits, but no criminal charges coming out against the allegations made with P. Diddy, Russell Simmons, Aaron Hall, Gloria Velez. If you've seen this, because I want to pay attention to this to see how this pans out, because never in, I would say, history that I know of, have you had such allegations coming back to back to back to back to back in the manner in which they are. And you have these people coming out, the women who are the alleged victims. And I'm not saying they're not victims. What I am calling out is that, how is this not called out in the midst or the height of all of these atrocious things taking place against our women, quote unquote? How are these things not being called out at the very sight? Because one thing I notice is that none of the women making allegations or having the stories, it doesn't show anywhere, no physical evidence that they have went to the police or the appropriate authorities with documentation showing this is what's taking place. Because if they're saying recordings are happening, why aren't they recording what preludes to the activities? They're not recording any conversations. And I'm sure it was some technology that was available for you to get these, items to prove your case. So in 2023, if they come out now, it's all believable, not a shred of evidence. Not a shred of evidence, not anything showing that this is something that actually took place and that I'm a 100% victim, because there are such thing as a guilty victim. Those are called casualties of war. And I always ask, it doesn't show any of the documentation to where and how these relationships began. You see, these women enter these industries, such as the music industry, in the times in which they entered, without any preconceived notions or any red flags to look out for prior to them getting into the music industry. No assurances prior to, no paperwork to show, hey, we went to the police on 8 occasions. Because in my allegations, this happened to me 46 times over the course of 10 years. But I have not one document showing I went to the appropriate authorities to file a complaint or press charges against my abuser. So we have to ask questions. So you hear these allegations of grooming, which is basically an older man preying on a younger woman. Now, in my videos, you hear me discuss something called proximity. What is proximity? Proximity is basically the space and area in which I am closest to a person, place, or thing. What's your proximity? Well, I'm about 6 feet out. I'm about 100 yards out. So this operates in a lot of cases in certain communities, right? So for a 35-year-old Russell Simmons to come in contact with a 17-year-old Kimora Lee, so it's reported, it's like a 17-year age difference. Okay. How do I gain access to, how does she get access to a guy such as myself? Am I really going back and digging through? Like, it has to make sense. And then you look at the pictures, they have these children, they have this family. How does this take place? All smiles in the midst of it, seemingly enamored with him to where you produce kids. Not one document saying I was forced to do this. Not one recording which gets him verbally saying or showing He is actually manipulating you and taking advantage of you, which would be evident. So now these, allegations of grooming, in which you have several celebrity relationships, but no grooming allegations are alleged on them. Jay-Z, Beyonce. You have a lot of white couples with huge age huge age gaps. No grooming allegations made against them. So what this pertains to is the use and the benefit in which you've got, in which she didn't. So because it's always tied to money now, isn't it? No criminal cases, but you need to pay me, because once you pay me, I'll be okay. I can go and buy the Birkin, the Rolls Royce. I can go and buy the mansion to show that I'm back in the game. Because that's ultimately what I want anyway, is to get back in the game. So you have these relationships that go on for more than 10 years and not one document that shows, hey, this person did this to me. Look at what this person did to me on all of these occasions in which you allege in your suit. And Gloria Velez, Aaron Hall situation. And this goes to, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Aaron Hall on video telling the world how he likes to have sex. Telling the world how big his Johnson is, and he wants, if a chick say his Johnson is little, then she's lying. So he has something to prove. Whenever you see guys take a fall in this manner, when it comes, because usually it's going to be tied to a woman. When you pay attention to history, all of the downfalls of your top level guys, Bill Cosby, and so forth and so forth, Tory Lanez, R. Kelly. These are the top. This is the creme de la creme. These are guys with 10 plus years in their industry. So you would say that's pretty successful. Their downfall is usually going to be tied to a woman. Some cases going to be different, but in this recent case with Aaron Hall and let's say the Tory Lanez, if you notice, social media was connected to it. They're like, I knew he was going to bring up social media. Of course. You see the breadcrumbs of the downfall. Tory Lanez posting with Meg Thee Stallion, Aaron Hall on videos screaming out, his sexual fantasies and what his resume basically. For what? To get stripes. So this puts him in the line of fire. You see, this puts him in, and this puts him on the chopping block with P. Diddy, because all of these names were pretty much in the game at the same time. Aaron Hall, Luke, and Luke came out and disclosed he was, Gloria Velez tried to lump him into what she wanted to do with Aaron Hall. So how did Aaron Hall meet a chick that was in high school? This is a grown man. How are you in his? Because he's not coming to a high school. See, what we like to do is make up fantasies and scenarios to fit the narrative. Well, how did he meet her? He had to be going to her high school. And why would a millionaire R&B singer who's in the top of his game be pursuing a 17-year-old chick when he has 20 and 21-year-old chicks at his doorstep? 22, 23, 24. So we have to get all of the information, not just the allegations, because the allegations are immediately believed with no shred of physical evidence other than the suit that's presented, but no criminal charge. Crying and I want this and all of this, but not one. And you would try to make the conclusion that the police are in on it. He's protected. Okay, but you still have ways to document. Even if you go to the police department and they don't take your case once you mention the name, you can have that on video. Because you're touching some money after a certain time. So let's say that you don't get your money to your second year, but after a while, you begin to get some resources. in which you can get the equipment necessary to convict this abuser. But these chicks move on, get married, have all these different crazy relationships, more children, and it's not until they really that door slams shut and they got that crowbar. And they know how to use that crowbar to pry that door back open, because they're going to connect to a man who they had a relationship and claim he did all of these things in which she was complicit in. Now, she may have bitten off more than she can chew, because I'm not saying P. Diddy is innocent, because I'm not a fan, or Russell Simmons. I think he's still out of the country because he knows that certain consequences await him upon his arrival back in regards to dealing with young chicks and sex trafficking and et cetera, et cetera. So age gap dating, so that this is becoming a new trendy thing that is being discussed. So you're going to have women trying to weaponize, and you have already been seeing this. You see the Fresh and Fits, you see the No Fugazi. These podcasts are exposing the rich and unemployed. They're showing what women, if you listen to what they say and they tell you what they did, it doesn't align. So now age gap dating is going to be where women are going to give you an arbitrary number contingent upon their standards of you, which is going to be usually your look and money and status. And they'll say, well, he's of this age, so he can date a chick that's this, because in more cases than not, he's paying for her lifestyle. If you're a regular guy, you're really not in that top tier, you may be mid to low, they're going to put a cap on you because you're going to be the fruit on the floor that they can have easy access to. So they're going to try to confine you in some kind of boundary to say, hey, you can't date below you. Now you only get 4 years because you don't make that much money. You see, just watch. This is a prophecy that I'm speaking before you right now. They're going to tell you, you can't do that. Now you get 3 years. It's going to be hilarious. But they'll big up the Carishas for dealing with P. Diddy. And now they're talking down on P. Diddy. But you want to know how that's fake and false? Because most people that are on social media are women. And when if you look at the ratio on certain industries, artists, types, if you go look at P. Diddy's Instagram right now, it's the same amount of followers that he had last year before these allegations came out, if not more. So now the people that are talking down on P. Diddy still follow him to make sure they keep up with him. No different than Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent, etc. People that hate you are going to follow you because they need to see what you're doing, so they'll have something to discuss. So they're going to demean your standards. If you make below, they're going to say, nah, that's not, you can't do that. But what you can do is disregard whatever their opinion will be, or a statement, narrative will be. And you date what is necessary for what you want to do and where you plan to go. But that's my take on age gap dating and this grooming wave that you're going to see with these allegations. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Once again, it's the Date Master.